A warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us on the news at 7 on NTA International. We're live in Abuja, and I am Ruth Aguele. First, the headlines. Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika promises to take action on VIP's resistance screening at airports as key players advocate intensified flow of credible information on coronavirus. Bioresources Institute of Nigeria comes up with claims of an experimental lead compound for possible treatment of COVID-19. And Supreme Court adjourns Imo and Zamfara states' judgment. We begin with issues on COVID-19. The confirmation of the first case of coronavirus disease in Nigeria has led to the reconvening of the interministerial and multi-sectoral meeting on preparedness and response to the global scourge. Following the evaluation of issues revolving around Nigeria's efforts at protecting citizens from the disease, intensified flow of credible information on COVID-19, which was emphasized as the Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika promised to take action on VIP's resistance screening at airports as well as airlines that are not compliant with the guidelines on the screening of passengers. Health correspondent Rabi Abdallah has the report.
I came in from London this morning and gladly to say that whilst I was in London yesterday, there's an aviation consultant who is part of this national carrier project, and he said to me that you know what, I feel safer to go to Nigeria than to come back to my home country in England. And the reason is I was in Abuja 3 days ago. During my trip I was handed over a form within the aircraft. I was disinfected and I filled the form to state my travel history and to say my destination, my telephone contact number, and my state of health. And once I came down, everybody was alert, and they took my temperature, and they asked me for my yellow card vaccine. And I showed the yellow card vaccine. And I was informed, if not, I could have been given a shot for free at the airport. And also, they showed me, or I witnessed all over the walls. We've got hand sanitizers all over the walls, displayed. And we could clean our hands. And I went in and I felt safe. But when I came back to London...
That's just a bit of the report. We'll definitely bring you the full package in a subsequent bulletin. Still on COVID-19, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the information dissemination platforms under his ministry have the capacity to generate the desired awareness and enlightenment campaign to sensitize the populace about the ongoing campaign to ensure that Nigerians live well in the face of the current COVID-19 pandemic. Anthony Forson reports.
Making their submissions at the reconvened interministerial and multi-sectoral meeting for public health emergency preparedness and response to the novel coronavirus awareness and sensitization, the Director General Nigerian Television Authority, his Radio Nigeria counterpart, as well as that of the National Orientation Agency, briefed the meeting and made some proposals.
So I want to use this opportunity to call on all the stakeholders present here to please give us through the Ministry of Information all the relevant information that needs to be given out to the public. We have the platforms, we have the units, we are ready, and once we have the contents, you can leave the rest to us, and we can assure you that the information will get to the right corners.
We try to do programs in order to make sure that people do not panic, because that is one of the most important things in this kind of situation. If you allow people to panic, then you have even much bigger problem in your hands.
Activate and populate all our social media outfits with this information, develop flyers in local languages on what to do, and craft the messages that will send out. Now we are seeking partnership with both the NTA and the Federal Radio Corporation to send out these messages already in Igbo, in Yoruba, in Hausa, in Fulfulde, and in Pidgin.
With this strategy as a way forward, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed was quick to sue for caution from the states.
While we have control of our FRCM platform, we don't have control of the states, platforms, and the state platforms are probably even much more important for this kind of advocacy than the federal, government platform. So please, we appeal to all state governments, and this is not political. This is about Nigeria. It doesn't need to be anything new. But some people did not hear it at 10 o'clock, might hear it at 11 o'clock.
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
In the same vein, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has reassured Nigerians that his government will continue to collaborate with relevant experts and bodies to curtail the spread of coronavirus. The governor gave the assurance while inspecting facilities at the Infectious Disease Hospital in Yaba, Lagos mainland. Nusa Osula will tell us more.
Sanwo-Olu, who inspected the Emergency Operations Center, Isolation Ward, and biosecurity laboratories at the Infectious Disease Hospital, described as insensitive the decision of some Nigerians to make quick money out of such a grave situation. During a brief meeting with a combined team of health officials, including those from the state and federal ministries of health, World Health Organization, the African Union, and representatives of security agencies at the isolation unit, Governor Sanwo-Olu gave an assurance that all relevant stakeholders would be engaged in the coming days to properly sensitize and galvanize action to curb the spread of the virus.
I've invited some of my fellow governors and some commissioners of health around Lagos, especially around the southwest, just so that we can explain to them where we are, what we've been doing, but more importantly, to see how we can scale up right around the federation centers like this.
The governor assured health workers at the IDH that government would do everything to support them while they put in the long hours needed to ensure that the situation is brought under control. While giving the governor an update, the Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, reported that the index patient is being monitored and currently showing steady signs of improvement. In Lagos, Nusa Osula, NTA News.
And Kano State is also not relenting as the State Ministry of Health has put in place measures to prevent the infiltration of COVID-19 into the state. This was disclosed at a meeting attended by people of vested interest. Let's hear from Hadiza Mohammed.
Kano being one of the densely populated area, commercial nerve center and home of the first West African International Airport, it becomes necessary for the state government to take stringent measures to prevent importation of COVID-19 into the country. It was against this background that the state government reactivated the rapid response team to ensure surveillance and create awareness among people on symptoms and precautionary measures against the deadly disease.
Identified and have been trained and have been posted to that center to manage appropriately any case that is brought or that is referred to that center. And we have repositioned drugs and personal protective equipment in the center.
Kano State Government has also deployed personnel to the Aminu Kano International Airport to ensure proper screening of air travelers. The meeting advised citizens not to panic or spread unverified rumor and report any suspected case to the nearest healthcare facility. It was attended by the representatives of the state government, Nigeria Center for Disease Control, and other relevant stakeholders. From Kano, Hadiza Mohammed, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Akwa Ibom State Government has set up task force and subcommittees to tackle any case of COVID-19. Here's the report.
Following the confirmation of coronavirus in Nigeria, the first in sub-Saharan Africa, Akwa Ibom State Government has put in place necessary preventive and protective safeguards to ensure that there is no case of COVID-19 in the state. Although no case of this infectious disease has been reported in the state, special isolation wards have been created in hospitals to quarantine any suspected infected person. The Akwa Ibom State Commissioner of Health, Dominic Ukpong, noted that the state government has also distributed private personal protective equipment and warned the Akwa Ibom people against the consumption of what is commonly known as bushmeat, since they are often associated with the transmission of these infectious diseases like Lassa fever and COVID-19.
Akwa Ibomers and residents in Akwa Ibom State, that we have been beefing up our preparedness capabilities since the first confirmation of the case in China. And we will use all the resources made available by the government to respond to this case.
In line with beating up preparedness, the Health Commissioner charged the Akwa Ibom people on improved and consistent hygiene and health-seeking behaviors. In Uyo, Ifoma Ihoje, NTA News.
In another development, the Bioresources Institute of Nigeria, an independent biosciences research and development organization, has come up with claims that it has an experimental lead compound that was identified and patented 5 years ago as a possible treatment for the emerging novel coronavirus, now codenamed COVID-19. The institute, which is soliciting support from Nigerian government to complete the development of the drug, said it is willing to make available the lead compounds and the fetal medicine, which contain the active molecule, for possible evaluation by other laboratories, with appropriate testing facility both in Nigeria and overseas. It will be recalled that when Ebola virus infection broke out in 2014, the research group had an experimental lead compound that was identified 15 years earlier in 1999. And now the group, led by Professor Maurice Iwu, said it has concluded arrangements with the antiviral program of the U.S. National Institute of Health to subject the compound to bioassay against the Wuhan coronavirus, also known as COVID-19.
A very simple approach. What we do is that we identify the project we want to handle, work with various laboratories, and it was working with those laboratories that led to the discovery of this compound, which is very active against coronavirus, SARS coronavirus, which we patented in 2015.
Both the Federal Ministries of Science and Technology as well as Health have expressed readiness to give full support to ensure the project succeeds.
Pharmacy, pharmacognosy, all the drug-related areas of study, so I'm happy that this compound will also be made available, since it's already patented, made available to them, so that for them to certify. Because for us, this is at the research stage. And once we prove that, yes, they will advise us. If they advise us that, yes, this is the way to find this treatment, this is the way to find a better way of managing any of these diseases, we'll be very happy to give all that support.
Depends on who is handling what and at what point in time. But I think the most important thing is to say that we're very impressed with what we have done so far, and the least we can do is to support you and collaborate with you so that we'll take it to the promised land. Thank you.
And as we keep our fingers crossed to that development, on the foreign scene, coronavirus toll tops 3,000 as world cases grow. Let's join Justin Bem Unyi for details.
The coronavirus death toll worldwide now is more than 3,000, where more than 90% are in Hubei, China. But there have been deaths in 10 other countries. In the meantime, these deaths in 11 countries include more than 50 in Iran and more than 30 in Italy. South Korea has reported 476 new cases, total 4,212, and 4 more deaths, total 26. In the related development, Australia has confirmed first person-to-person transmission. And Amazon says 2 employees in Italy have the virus and are in quarantine. While Indonesia, Iceland, Portugal, Armenia and Andorra confirmed their first cases of the virus. In Africa, Algeria has confirmed 2 more cases, just a second case has been confirmed in Egypt. In other news, one of the 2 men who had been declared president of Guinea-Bissau resigned on Sunday after just 1 full day in office. Cipriano Kasama told reporters that he has no security, his life and family is in danger, and he cannot accept that. In the meantime, Britain says it is providing military support to the Sahel to significantly step up combat against the world's fastest growing Islamist-led insurgency. Over the past month, British troops have been training local forces to fight extremism in the Sahel, which has been waging war against Islamist militancy for almost a decade. 250 British soldiers are to join a UN mission in Mali later this year.
Let's take a breather now. We'll be back shortly, so please stay tuned.
COVID-19 transmission is mostly through droplets from sneezing and saliva. The most effective way to protect yourself from the virus is to practice good personal hygiene. Wash hands with soap under running water or use an alcohol-based sanitizer if water is not available. Maintain at least 2 meters distance between yourself and anyone who is coughing or sneezing. Cover your mouth and nose with your elbow or tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose of the used tissue immediately. If you have traveled recently to a country with COVID-19 outbreak in the last 14 days and you have a fever, cough, or breathing difficulty, call NCDC toll-free numbers before going to the hospital. This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
That channel where you watch just now don't waka, no panic.
There's me no panic.
You go do it by yourself like ABC. Oh yeah, press the menu button on top your remote. Scroll up and down till you see Information Central. Then press OK.
Press OK.
Check the signal strength and quality. If the signal strength and quality pass 70, make you press the exit button, go back. Go advanced options, then choose installation, then go to reset and press OK.
Yeah, press OK. Wow, now you self fit catch all those channels will be one miss road by yourself. Yes, make your group for no loss. You see as I do, Abi? And I see as I do,
Go TV. Live it. Love it.
Welcome back. President Muhammadu Buhari joins the Christian community in celebrating the General Overseer of Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch Adejari Adeboye, at 78, saluting his dedication to God, welfare of the church, and consistency in preaching and living the gospel for many years. In a statement signed by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, says the president felicitates with the Redeemed Christian Church of God, members of Pastor Adeboye's family, commending the positive influence the preacher has had on the country and its citizens, with a wide network that hugely impacts on education, infrastructure, and health. President Buhari prays that the Almighty God will grant Pastor Adeboye longer life, good health, and more wisdom to continue sharing the love of Christ. And to Judiciary, hearing by the Supreme Court on the application filed by the former governor of Imo State, Emeka Ihedioha, of People's Democratic Party, seeking a review of its January 14th earlier judgment of the Apex Court was forestalled, following a request for adjournment by counsel to Ihedioha, Kanu Agabi, SAN, to enable him respond to a motion served on him this Monday while in court by the respondent. Judiciary correspondent Vera Chumuba was at the Supreme Court, and she tells us more now.
The 7-man panel of justices of the Apex Court, presided over by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, was set to hear the applications brought by the former governor of Imo State, Emeka Ihedioha, and PDP, seeking a review of the 14th February judgment of the court, which ruled that Hope Uzodinma and APC proved that results from 388 polling units of the state were unlawfully excluded from the collated votes. The former governor had filed the application on the 5th of February, urging the Apex Court to set aside its earlier judgment on the ground that the court acted without jurisdiction and the judgment was obtained by fraud and deceit, resulting in the court being misled. When the case was mentioned, counsel to Emeka Ihedioha Kanu Agabi, SAN, informed the court that he was served the motion in court this morning by the respondents and requested for time to respond. The court granted the request and adjourned for Tuesday, 3rd of March. The case of APC candidates seeking a review of May 24, 2019 judgment of the court, which voided the votes of the party candidates in the 2019 general election, was also postponed because some candidates were not represented in court following the inability of the counsel, Robert Clark, SAN, to serve them. The Apex Court directed that all parties involved in the matter be served with the necessary applications.
Some lawyers don't want to receive, some want to receive. But as the court rightly pointed out, I will take two alternatives. Those of them who are not ready to cooperate with us, we will withdraw their names from the case.
It was for this same reason that this case was adjourned 2 weeks ago, or more than 2 weeks ago. I thought by today they would have put their house in order.
Hearing in both cases fixed for 3rd and 17th of March. In Abuja, Viera Chumuba, NTA News.
The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps is adopting more proactive measures in curbing criminal tendencies threatening internal security and well-being of the people. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that this came to the fore during the 2020 World Civil Defense Celebration in Abuja.
It is another turnaround of event in the management of the security architecture of the country, and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps is dedicating its day to the review of progress achieved, assessment of major tactical operations of the Corps during the year, and new strategies to drive the sustainable vision of safeguarding national assets and infrastructure. Disaster management took center stage. Deputy Commandant General of NSCDC Nathaniel Ubong says the renewed vigor of the Corps is to ensure adequate measures are put in place to address acts undermining the security of the country. He explains that the establishment of outgrower rangers and other anti-crimes outfits across the country is fast answering questions of farmers' herders crisis, adoption and other heinous crimes.
We are the 56 member state nations globally, and so it's also to draw awareness that we are deeply involved in disaster management in our homes, in our offices, especially with the theme of this year's civil defense, a first aider in every home.
The ceremony climaxed with colorful parade and other social events of the Corps. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
On a sad note, President Muhammadu Buhari has commiserated with the Aliyu family in Birnin Kudu, Jigawa State, over the death of its patriarch, Alhaji Aminu Aliyu. The president condoled in particular with Magaji Dau Aliyu, Chairman House Committee on Power, and his longtime political associate, Faruk Adamu Aliyu, urging them to take solace in the knowledge that the departed God-fearing head of their family lived a life of dedicated service to his community and humanity. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, President Buhari also joined the government and people of Jigawa State in mourning Alhaji Aliyu and prayed God to console not only Aliyu's family members but all those who mourn him and also grant his soul rest. And talking sports, new record set at the just concluded Force Athletics Federation of Nigerian Classic in Ado Ekiti. Gift George has details of this and more on Sports Update.